This is the Lucie Beatrix podcast. I'm a fashion model turned competitive athlete, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about dating, love, and relationships. I'm going to be answering questions that I received on Instagram earlier this week, but I'm not going to be answering them alone. In fact, I've asked my friend and the producer or the brains of the operation behind this podcast to help me. So yeah, Jay, just introduce yourself. Tell people who you are. This is the person who's literally put all of this together and made the Lucie Beatrix podcast what it is now.
Hi, I'm Jay, and I am the brains behind all this. But seriously, I own a small video studio in Rockville Center, and I guess for the last 10 years, I've been a internationally traveled photographer and a videographer. I do a lot of sports. I do a little bit of fashion, and try to have fun and travel the world.
You have some good news about the Emmy situation. If you want to talk about that, I mean, I'm wildly impressed by this, and I feel like you should share some of your accolades.
Okay. Well, the Emmy situation, I guess I should just say I have some minor footage. I wasn't a major contributor, but I have minor footage in that HBO surfing show, 100-Foot Wave. And then I have my friend Andrew Cotton coming this weekend to do a Q&A all the way from Portugal.
And he's the surfer. He's
like one of the main characters in the show, along with our other good friend Garrett McNamara.
Wow.
Who is one of the men, or the man, who put Portugal, this town called Nazaré, that's in Portugal, on the map.
So describe what you do for that footage. Like, how are you shooting the people on the wave?
Well,
because that's what everyone always asks me. They're like, what is he shooting, and how does he shoot these surfers?
Well, it's funny. My segue, though, into the surfing world is my friend Will, who lives in Long Beach. And then he is also friends with Andrew and with Garrett. And he also is a professional big wave surfer. So that is how I got into traveling, around the world with Will, and then also to Nazaré. So that's how I got there. But I mean, after going there for a couple of years, it's like anything else. You start to know the little angles, the streets that nobody goes to. Everyone likes to shoot from this famous cliff, but there's a parking lot on one end, and there's all these little nooks and crannies that, people say, oh, I've never seen that angle of that wave before. Where were you? And I'm like,
You figured it out.
And I just,
That's cool.
Because I don't like to stand, really with anything, I don't like to stand next to 35 other photographers, because then we all have the same shot.
Exactly.
So if I see 30 photographers over there, I'm going to figure out where else I could be, because it's pointless for me to shoot next to 20 other guys shooting the same thing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But it's crazy because some of the footage that I've seen that you've shot is unreal. How are you out there in the water, or how are you shooting this stuff?
I guess for a lot of it, I'm on the beach. I have a long lens on my camera, but it's probably a story for another time. But I get bad motion sickness. We could talk about this for hours. But I was out in the water once at Nazaré with Garrett and Will and Andrew, and then I was just got really sick, which then led to me
deciding to just shoot on land,
throwing up.
Oh no!
Yeah, all over the beach.
Because you were on one of those
Yeah, well, we were on the ski. It's 20-foot swells, and you're going
with your gear.
What?
You have your gear to shoot.
I have my gear. I'm in a wetsuit, then I'm in an impact float suit, then I'm holding my camera to my face. I'm looking through the camera, and the jet ski's going 10, 15 feet up and down on these enormous swells. And that's not even a big day. It was such a mellow day there. But I'm such a city boy that the ocean just tears me up.
Yeah, so that sounds crazy. So how did you get to this? How did you have this happen? So for people who don't know, we're in Rockville Center, Long Island, and the studio that I've been recording my podcast out of, or Jay's been recording me do my podcast out, is here, and it opened. You really just opened not that long ago.
A couple months.
And so how did this come to be?
I wanted first, I wanted a cool office, as selfish as that sounds. But secondly, I wanted to help people that don't know the nuts and bolts of creating content, be it like photographic or video or whatever the case may be. Like I even helped a girl last week record her audiobook here.
That's right. Yeah, you were talking about that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I wanted to create a space where people that have things they love to do and to talk about, like, are able to then share that with other people without having this barrier of the electronics and like the gadgets getting in the way.
Yeah, because you're decked out. You have all the gear, so that somebody like
a cook wants to come in,
and wants to make content, but doesn't want to buy all the stuff and doesn't even know how to use it if they do buy it.
Right.
It's kind of awesome that it's all just here for someone to use.
Right.
And someone like you who knows how to use it.
And it's cool because we could just use it and make like stupid things.
Yeah.
We could just sit here and just talk and then just whatever and see what happens, which is even funnier. But
yeah, it's kind of awesome. It's like an all-in-one situation. It's like a content mecca where people can just come and make stuff and shoot. There's a studio so people can shoot stuff. You could, the sky's the limit in a space like this. But so anyway, so now we know who you are. And I got a lot of questions about dating and relationships. And, I like to put my love doctor hat on, or coat, lab jacket, whatever you want to call it. And try to attempt to answer these kinds of things, even though I'm not an expert. I'm not qualified to give any advice.
I'm qualified, actually.
Well, that's a relief because you're going to be helping, because I got these questions and I attempted to answer them quickly on my own story on Instagram, like really quickly. But I feel like it'll be nicer to have them more fleshed out and thought about, and maybe even a little bit of a dialogue between the both of us, because we have very different backgrounds and very different, understandings of this stuff. So it'd be kind of cool to just like see what we both have to say. But I've given you the questions.
I'm reading them now for the first time, and we're really going to go down this road.
You seem so excited to do this.
Yeah, I'm sweating.
I feel like I definitely put you on the spot. I think yesterday I texted you and I was like, get ready. You're going to be on camera. And you're just like,
armpits are sweaty.
Yeah, exactly.
Here we go.
Okay,
all right.
Go for it. First question.
All right, first question. What do you look for in a partner?
Wait, that's the first question. What do you look for in a partner?
What do you look for in a partner?
Okay.
It's on the top.
So I'm assuming this is meaning like what traits or characteristics do you look for in a significant other, or maybe an ideal partner? For me, I guess I'll go first.
You go first.
The traits that I look for, that like the standalone, they must have these common things, or these characteristics are loyalty. I feel like just being loyal and not like a player type or playing the field. But overall, I'd say being determined and driven are really important, because I think there are a lot of really nice people out there, but if they don't have some kind of like hustle, they're never gonna understand me. And that's really important. So being loyal, being determined, and then being nice, because I think that's another thing, is like some people, I feel like they're so focused on their own thing that they don't make time for someone else to like really listen to them and like hear out their problems. And so I feel like those are like the main ones that stand out to me. What are the ones for you?
Wow, we got to do this. All right.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, everyone wants to know.
Well,
I feel like it's
trust me.
Wait.
Trust me. Nobody wants to know.
No.
I'm looking
People want to
to
know, like, what does like you're. I feel like you're like the archetype of like a dude's dude, a guy's guy, and I think people want to know like what stands out as like the qualities of what you would be looking for in a girl or a woman.
Well, I guess. Well, first of all, I guess I would like a woman that's independent, like has her career, has all her ducks in line, and she's not like looking for somebody to like swoop in and like save her life and make her happy. And like, I want like someone that has their own place, they have their own job, they have their own career, they're 100% happy within their own little ecosystem they made for themselves, and they're just looking for someone to like, share. And then
that is really interesting. So can I ask a question about that? So
yeah, sure.
Is there ever such a thing of a woman being too independent, where you're like, okay, you've got your own stuff and you're not making room for anything else?
I mean, there's always extremes. I would imagine.
Because I don't know. I feel like there's this thing with some guys where they see like independent hustle girl women, and then they're like, okay, she's got too much. I guess it's just the different types of people, because some people want to be the saviors.
I mean, yeah, somebody wants to be dominant. They want to feel like they're saving this girl, and they get off on that, and they just do everything that they can. And then there's, I don't know, but
so you're saying you definitely think that like that independent trait is like a good thing, because then it's like they have their own.
Well, yeah,
things.
I mean, I feel like they're happy alone, and they're content with their life they built for themselves, and then that would, allow them to, find someone else like that, and then they could just share their two happy lives together instead of like, because I hate really when it's like unbalanced. Then it's like there's someone else, even if they don't say it, I don't care. There are people out there right now, they're in a relationship and they feel like, oh, she couldn't do this without me, or he couldn't do that without me. And it's always a little bit of a chippy. I feel
totally get that. Yeah. I've thought about how with my running, with like training and running and stuff, I always think about how would it look? Okay, so there are a lot of these women that like Olympians that I look up to, that I am obsessed with. And they always have their finish line photos where they're like running into the arms of their husbands or their boyfriends. And like, I couldn't have done it without you. You were there for me every step of the way. And I think about that. And I'm like, is that how it's supposed to be? Or is there this other kind of person that I think I might be, where it's like, no, I did this for myself. Like no one knows that pain except for me. And I got myself to that finish line. And so it's like, I don't know, it's like this interesting thing of like, maybe there are some people who want to have that like
right. And I want to walk mine back a little bit. I just like, if there's kids involved and you're like later on in a relationship, but I mean like, this is like, when you're first meeting somebody, that's
I
don't want people to say, I'm home. And
once your lives are completely conjoined because you're married with kids, then it's like you do depend on each other, and it has to be.
Yes, has to be.
You don't want them living alone.
Right.
The mother of your children.
Right, exactly.
But so independence. What else?
Oh, you want more?
Yeah. That's the only thing.
That's a good one.
I had 3. I had loyalty.
What is this, a contest?
Driven. Yeah. Well, you have to give at least 3.
All right. That's a big one.
Independence seems to be at the forefront.
It is the forefront. I guess same thing. Honesty. Where you going with a dishonest person?
That's huge. That's huge. And sometimes with honesty, sometimes it means saying things you don't like, that the person's not going to want to hear. And that's important too, because then it's like that honesty will give you the freedom to then make other decisions that might end the relationship, but at least you guys are on the same page.
And I guess someone that's also like maybe open to trying new things.
That's cool.
Because I never really was.
Interesting.
In the last 5-6 years, I feel like, I get in the ocean more, I fly more, I travel more.
So not being so set in your ways.
Yeah.
I see. You know what I think's funny about both of our traits that are the top 3 is that neither one of us said how they look. Like some people would have led with like, they have to be blah, 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 like, beautiful. And
I don't know. Maybe because I'm older. I feel like when I was 17, I was like number 1.
Yeah. I think it's interesting when I think about, for me, physical appearance is really not, it's never really been a driving force for me, like for anything, like for, I don't know, like, but especially in relationships, but there are some people who are definitely like, that is what motivates it, is just who is the most attractive person that they can be with, or, but I feel like that like kind of wears out after a while, and nothing lasts forever. So
I'm looking for beauty on the inside.
Beauty on the inside. That's important.
It is important. Because I know some beautiful people and they're ugly on the inside.
And also, I kind of also think that if somebody is initially attracted to you by how you look, there's also a pressure for that person to like uphold that. So for example, like when I was still modeling full time, if someone was really into me because they're like, oh, model, like, oh, she's shot for DKNY and cover of Elle and this and that, I didn't want to be with those people, because I didn't want to be with someone who wanted the model version of me, because I was like, there are going to be moments when I'm not the model version of me, and you're going to see me undone, like sweaty and gross, and you're going to be very surprised. And that's going to be really hard for me to live up to this version of myself. So yeah, I feel like I don't like it when people have ever been attracted first and then feel like I have to like live up to that version of myself all the time and like have my makeup on or whatever.
I do want to walk that back a little bit though. Now
You
that
keep changing your mind.
I'm not flip flopping, but I mean, listen, there has to be some attraction.
Yeah. Okay.
There has to be some.
Yeah.
You know,
There has to be a baseline.
Like, I just can't look at somebody, and if it's like right away, like you know, I forgot to switch the cameras again. It's very hard for me to do two things at once.
That's funny.
Here I am back.
Oh, well.
But anyway, yes, I can't like. It's got to be something, because if there's no like initial spark, like I'm not like, then you know, then it's just downhill. I think
You definitely need to have some initial attraction for sure, but that I think it can't be the only thing, because that's boring.
Yeah,
and it
of
also fades, and there are going to be moments where things are at ebbs and flows and stuff. But yeah, I think it's kind of like just the right amount, like just the.
I feel like everyone's brain differently like zeroes in on people differently. Like you look at someone and I look at someone, like we see them differently. Our brains like calculate
of what is attractive. Because like even like physically, so like I've been around these, you know, male models and stuff, especially like when I go to work at the photo studio, and I'll see like the perfect specimen on paper of like the most whatever is like perfect. I don't know, like that look like this Greek gods or whatever. And to me, because I'm so desensitized, I'm just like, oh yeah, like model, perfect measurements, like looks ideal. But like, I don't think of it like in that way. And I think it's because I've maybe grown up in the fashion industry that I just have seen so many beautiful, perfect people, men and women. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. But like, what are you and who are you? Like, what do you have to say? What do you have to do to like enrich my life? Or like, what could you bring to the table? And so even like walking down the street, if I see a like an objectively attractive person, I can see it as that. But I think that just comes from being like raised in the modeling industry. And like, that's like the way my like lens has been, or my filter. But I look at like more of like how people take care of themselves. I feel like that's another thing, is like health, of just what shows that they take care of themselves and are putting work into like staying healthy or healthful and exude wellness. Because I feel like that's also very attractive too, of just like health. Or like, yeah, I don't know.
I'm not healthy.
But yeah, so I guess we've got the traits down. But yeah, what's the next question?
All right, here we go. In the early phases of dating, what are your red flags?
The way you're asking these questions makes it so much funnier.
I'm sorry.
No, it's hilarious. I love it. Keep going. So in the early phases
of dating,
what are the red flags?
What are your red flags?
My red flags. In the early phases of dating, my red flags. This is a great question. I did get this question a couple times about red flags. Red flags in a dude. What are your red flags?
Are these your red flags that have happened, or you're just are these situational? Because I'm going to give you I'm giving you situational ones that like on dates I've gone on. These things have happened.
I want to know before.
No, you have to go.
You want me to go to first? Because I want to hear these.
Yeah, you go first. I have plenty.
Oh, I'm really curious about yours. I can't even think about mine. Okay, so my red flags of things. I'll give examples, real life situational examples if you're going to. But red flag, let me think. I think when someone like kind of immediately off the bat belittles anything that I do that I'm like really passionate about. So like, for example, if I say I'm a writer and they're like, oh yeah, like writing, I want to start, they like make it about them, or like make it like, oh yeah, that's something that I could do. Like one person I was talking to, I feel like this was a while ago, but I said I was a writer, and I'm like, this is like what I do. Like I make money writing. Like this is a job.
And what they say, oh, I write my grandma a birthday card once a year.
That, because that would even be better than, yeah, writing, I could write, or I want to write. And I'm like, okay, but do you? Or like, so it's almost like they wanted to show me that it's like a very token mansplaining example of, you say you do something and then they say that they either could or want to do it, and don't really give you any validation of like, or ask questions about like, what do you write about, or like what's you know, that to me is kind of a red flag because it just shows that they're already putting me below their thought of me is like below anything that they're interested in. But that's one.
Should we like alternate?
Yeah, you should go. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's see.
That's right. That's why you're the brains of the operation.
I just figured at least we can go back and forth because I have some wonderful horror stories. Well,
I'm sure you have a lot.
They go both ways, you know. But so I went on this date, and then I found this girl very attractive, you know, late 30s, but red flag. I ignored it because I was kind of into her, but she had the drunk eyes.
Drunk eyes?
Come on, man. You know the drunk eyes. And it didn't matter what time we were hanging out. Like, it could be like during the day, at night, in the afternoon, on Sunday afternoon, in the morning. She had drunk eyes.
So her eyes are just glossed over?
Glossy, and like she just had like a couple pints when she woke up, and chased it with some shots, and then like came out to hang out in the middle of the afternoon.
So you saw this and you just turned a blind eye to it.
I thought maybe she's having a bad week, you know. Then it turned into like 3 months, and I was like, I had to
Not good.
Yeah, she called me in the afternoon, and she told me that take care of her dog. She's leaving. And I was like, where are you going? And she's like, I'm dying.
What?
And I was like, what do you mean?
What?
Yeah, and then she told me she like dropped LSD, and I should go get her dog because she's leaving the planet.
Okay.
So
that's when your moment of you have all those red flags that were
that I knew the entire time.
Like,
it was all leading to this.
There are these little whispers that were telling you to run the other direction from this.
I didn't listen, but it all led up to that moment. And then I said, you know, at this point, I like this girl. I feel like she had a good soul, but you know, she just had like demons that I'm not saving anyone anymore. I have a long history of saving people.
Yeah.
Those were the red flags.
That's horrible.
The drunk eyes, and I knew it. I knew it on like the second date. I knew it because I have like I don't want to talk about who, but like I could look at anyone and I know the drunk eyes. I see pictures of people. I'm like, oh,
drunk.
They're drunks. They're drunk currently.
That's a really good. Okay, so that makes me think of my next red flag situation.
I love it. Let's go.
Yeah, these are good. that one made me think of mine. But when substance is the forefront of their being. So like, you know, I'm sober. I've been around the block. But if someone is just only can talk about if they can't tell a story without mentioning how many drinks they had, like being like, oh yeah, and then there was, you know, I had a couple drinks. Like it's like I get it. If you're like some people I'm gonna encounter people who are still drinking and stuff, but I feel like if that's the forefront of someone's existence, that's a big red
but
flag.
listen, a drink is okay. You don't get drunk eyes from a drink. It doesn't, right?
Right. Yeah. I'm like, I get that. Like that's, but I feel like if someone's like leading their personality when you're first getting to know them as they're using and drinking
100%.
and stuff, it's not
attractive.
That's not attractive. And that's a red flag. Cause it's like, oh, and like for someone like me, I mean, it doesn't make any sense to like I'm not going to be, that's not going to be
a
part of my
your
experience.
Life. Right.
But so that's funny. Yeah, that's probably a big red flag. Do you would you like to share another?
You kind of copied mine, but it's okay.
Yeah, I did copy yours. I piggybacked off your red flag.
It's okay. Now I have to think of another one. I thought I had one on deck, but now I kind of want to. You want to give me another one?
Let me think of another one. Okay, so early phases of dating. So I think the question is saying like the red flags in the beginning.
Yeah, early phases.
Because that's like I feel like that's like the whole premise of red flag is it's giving you a premonition of something.
Listen, you know when you meet somebody. Sometimes maybe you're a little more attracted to them than you should be, but I feel like when you meet somebody, you just know. You know what?
You know that you like them, or you know if they have a problem.
I feel like you get like intuition when you meet someone. You get like the whole. After sitting with someone for like an hour and on a date, I feel like
you get the sense.
Yeah, you feel like,
but like
this guy, or you could be like, this guy is cute, but this is a bad idea.
I see.
Or Sam, I think this girl is really cute or nice, but I know she's not good for me. But
But you overlook little things.
I overlook it because maybe I'm attracted to her. I overlook it because maybe.
I don't really do that as much because I feel like if I see little things, I'll just go like. So for example, if someone said red flag is if someone says, I'm not really looking for a relationship. And that's like why I went on the date. Or like, like I want it, like that's what I want. Then I'm like, I don't really like, what are we doing? I have friends. Like, I'm not trying to make friends. I mean, like, okay, that said, if I meet someone, I'm like, okay, you have a really interesting life and whatever, and I want to like know you as a friend, that's a different story. But if someone off the bat is like, yeah, I'm just looking to have fun, that's, to me, it's a red flag. Because I'm like, what am I doing? I want to make that room, open up that for the potential of building something like a relationship. So I think that's like someone telling you where they're at, and it's on different wavelengths. But yeah.
I'm still thinking of another red flag.
Let me think of another one then. Another red flag. Oh, this is stupid, but it's very personal to me.
Stupid is good.
So, okay. A red flag. If I talk about running, and I'm sure other athletes can relate to this. I'm sure, Molly Seidel's this famous runner. She's an Olympian, and she talked about this too publicly on Twitter. But it's this idea of like, if you say you're this runner, and then a guy's like, oh, like I bet I could beat you in a race.
Oh, wah.
That's a red flag, because it just shows that they automatically don't take your running seriously. Like, I've had that. I feel like over the years, that's been a really common thing that people would say when I was still on the apps. It was always like, oh yeah, like I bet I could beat you in a shorter distance, like the mile or the 5K. And I'm like, I'm not trying to be cocky, but I really don't know about that. But at the same time, it's just like, it's a weird thing to say.
Yeah, why would someone say that? That's like,
it's common though.
Is it?
Yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, like I could beat you in a sprint. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Like, I can't, like, I mean, I don't know, like, that is very strange, because like,
it's common though.
Because like, that's like what you do.
Very common.
It's like, it's like your thing.
Yeah. And it's just like yet another, it's kind of piggybacking off the first red flag that I gave about like when they put down like whatever you're doing.
Right.
That's, I don't know. I also just feel like any unsolicited advice about things, like if you're just getting to know someone and then they just start giving you all this advice.
I hate that from anybody.
Yeah, same. That's just like a red flag for a human. But like,
God.
If they just start telling you how to do things, it's like if I came into your studio and I'm like, yeah, you should put the cameras over here and do this and that. But I feel like just in general, if you're getting to know someone and they just have to tell you what you're doing wrong with your life, like, yeah, you should be doing this, and this. It's like, I don't know.
Can we talk about like different red flags for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Can we talk about like when someone comes up, because you're a photographer too, when someone comes up to like you or to me and they go, wow, you take awesome photos. You must have a really nice camera. And I know that's like an Instagram. That's like an Instagram meme.
That's a diss.
But I hate that.
Yeah, me too. Because it's like, it's just them saying that it's.
But I do have a nice camera.
You do have a nice camera and a nice lens.
I do have a nice camera and a nice setup.
But it's not about that. It's about the shooter, not the.
It's about the framing. It's about the depth. It's about your foreground. It's not just like, click.
Do you know how many people, like what you're saying, do you know how many people will buy the fancy stuff but then don't know how to shoot because.
100%.
Yeah.
They don't have like that eye.
Or they don't. It's the same with anything. It's like if you're a writer but you don't have any stories or something. Like, I just think that it's like the perspective, and makes us, and it makes us individuals.
It's like you're running.
Exactly. Yeah, that too. It's like
that's like your thing. It's like, oh, you must have great shoes.
Right. Yeah. Or like, oh yeah, I could run fast if and it's like, okay, well then do it. Just do it.
And I'm sure everyone watching this knows that you're blazingly fast.
I would say I'm above average.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I've discussed with runners that don't know you. I said, oh, this girl runs this, and that. And he was like, he like started to like laugh, like, oh, okay.
Oh,
just saying. So,
well, that means a lot.
Like, I can't imagine running like somewhere like I would ride a bike or drive somewhere that you could like run to for transportation. Like for actual transportation, you could just use your legs.
I mean,
like if you needed to get somewhere, like something was happening, you could run 10, 20 miles and get to safety.
I would
die.
I would die.
I would be dead because I'd either have a heart
attack
attack running or whatever was happening would just consume me.
Remember? Yeah, like I feel like we were walking up the stairs to the studio.
Don't make fun of me like that. It's only one flight of stairs.
Okay, yeah. And I feel like you were like, I don't know about that, but it was very hot out. So I feel like that was.
I'm not that bad.
But no, you're not that bad.
But yes,
But thank you. But yeah, it just feels funny with anybody trying to like undermine what it is that you do as it's deducting it down to like, okay, it's your gear or it's because of all these other things other than just talent or like work ethic. But yeah. So do you have another red flag?
No, I think we should skip to the next question.
Wait, you don't like that? Wait, can you give me a clue of what the question we're skipping is? Because I feel like that's...
Oh, no, we're not skipping. We're just going to skip it. We're going to finish, wrap this one up.
I thought you saw a question and that you're we're skipping over it. We're not skipping over anything.
We're not skipping. We're going through it. We're going through it. Let's just get right to the next one. Next one is, I'm sure you have a lot of insight on this one because I'm
curious what it is.
You ready?
Yes.
The worst pickup line versus the best pickup line.
The worst pickup line of all time.
I have a
well,
good one.
besides, I bet I could beat you in a race. That's that one's bad.
That one is bad because they probably can't.
I bet I could beat you in a race is pretty bad.
Have you ever like sunned somebody when they said that? Have you ever been like, all right, let's go outside, and then actually just smoke somebody?
I want to say no, but I have for sure. I've definitely like said to some. There was one person who was like really wanting to like just test like what's going, and then we went on a run, and let's just say they had to stop.
I hope you didn't stop. You just kept going.
Stop.
Good.
No.
I love that.
I was like, oh no, but then I was like, oh, are you okay? Like, is everything okay?
Oh, so you stopped.
Well, but then I was like, let's just like finish the run, but we had to like adjust our pace.
Nah, you should have just ran away. It's never stopped. Yeah, that's what Thank God I'm not a runner. That's what I would have done. I would sort of ran off into the sunset. Never saw me again. All right.
Wait,
next.
what's your worst pickup line? Has someone picked you? Like, do you get pickup? Like, do people come up to you and say like?
I'm almost embarrassed to even say it.
They do. They do.
Now, hold on. I gotta hit the camera back on me so I can blush.
I thought you were turning off. No, I want to hear.
No, I'm not turning off.
People come. What is the worst pickup line? You definitely. I'm sure around these parts.
I'm thinking about it. I'm blushing because it's awful.
If my
awful.
Wait, tell me.
I can't even say it. It's so awful. It's like
you have to say it.
Perverted and like it's just awful.
Is it like how like can we PG-13 in it?
Well, all right. So I got asked to come over to someone's house.
What?
This girl's house. This is like a friend. This is like a friend. She asked me to come over, have chicken cutlets, and then give her a baby.
What?
Is that a pickup line?
That's a pickup line, but it's also like maybe
horrible.
Boundary.
Horrible.
How is this your friend?
Oh, I don't know, just someone I know for a long time, and I guess she just wanted a child, and she was getting older, and
there is some merit to that. I can see. I'm not saying this is okay.
But this is like real. Like someone actually asked me.
Was like, just come give me a child.
Yeah. I was like, what am I gonna do afterwards? It's like you're a child.
Give me a dad.
I'm my child. And it was really weird too. I shouldn't even say this. But like 9 months later, she had a baby. I guess she found somebody.
Could have been yours.
No, she found somebody else.
She found someone else. She's on her timeline.
Yeah.
So I will say somebody at work that I love working with. He always brings up to me my biological clock, but it's like funny. I let him. Anyone else, I'd be like, shut up.
Does he?
But for him, it's okay. He's a gay guy, so he's not trying
so he doesn't
to
want to sleep with you.
He's not trying to, no. But he brings it up with me because he's almost keeping me, like I said, anyone else, if they brought it up, I'd be very mad. But because it's him, I'm like, it's fine. But so we were talking about it, and he said that there's something that like shifts biologically where you're going to just start looking at people in different ways and start to think about that.
When does that happen?
What?
When does that happen?
Well, like in your mid 30s as a girl, if you haven't had a kid yet,
and you're a girl, okay.
Yeah, and when you're a woman and you're like in your mid 30s and you haven't had a child yet, you could start to look at people if you want that. Like I feel like so then I kind of went back and forth because I was like, do I? Do I not? Do I? Do I want? Do I not? And I would like look at people and try to, and I think I have it a little bit, but I don't even know how to totally wrap my mind around it.
I don't know if I do or if I don't either anymore.
Interesting. Or maybe you're past that phase.
I don't know.
The male menopause.
Yeah, menopause.
Menopause. Well, you might be. I mean, it's kind of it's weird to think about because I just in my head I'm 16 years old. Like I feel like I've lived a million lives, but I feel like I'm still in high school.
Well,
like sometimes.
I guess maybe not 16, but I feel like I'm still late 20s, maybe mid 30s.
Yeah, I
30s.
feel like it's a mindset. But I guess fertility doesn't care about what your mindset is.
I know.
But you know what's crazier to me is people who have kids when they are 16 or like people who are just, they start having kids so young. And I'm like, well, in a weird way, that almost might have been the move, because then you're like, you're ahead of it. And then you don't have to think about it later on. Like you don't have to be in your 30s going, wait, I gotta maybe figure this out. You're getting it out of, like, so my sister, she started having kids when she was 18. And so I'm like, oh, like you got that out of the way and now you don't have to think about it.
That's cool. She's going to have like helpers for her whole life.
Actually. Yeah. Like in little best friends. It's cool.
It
Like
is
I
cool.
can see how it would work if you just have the right setup, but you'd have to really have a good partner or family support.
Yeah.
But like she could, have my mom help and stuff, but still it's kind of interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm just, like I said, I feel like a kid. So I just like don't know how to look at that. So worst pickup line was having someone invite you over to have a kid.
Yeah, but they also tempted me with chicken cutlets because I do love.
Because they're saying they're gonna cook it for you.
Yes, I do love chicken cutlets. So I was like, I'm gonna cook you chicken cutlets, but then you're gonna have to impregnate me.
Well, she could have just asked you to be her donor, like a sperm.
No, that would have been even weirder
that
than the chicken cutlets. Man, I think I want chicken cutlets today. Maybe I could call her, see if I could still, is that offer still on the table.
Another one.
No kids. Just I'll come over with the cutlets.
That's funny. Oh my god.
She's got 2 kids now.
Wow.
Yeah, 2.
Is she married to
She had
person?
to cook cutlets twice, I guess.
So that's your worst pickup line. What's the best pickup line?
I don't know about the best, but I can tell you one that worked. That was pretty awful.
What?
For me, I asked somebody out.
Wait, you're saying this is the best one that worked for you?
Well, I used it. I used it on a girl.
What did you use on a girl?
I commented on her Uggs. This is years ago when Uggs were cool, if they were ever cool.
I guess they're coming back, but
I don't know, this is probably
go on.
This is like 15 years ago.
Okay.
I saw a cute girl. I was at Dunkin' Donuts before I switched to Starbucks. Okay. And I said, "Oh, I like your Uggs." And she's like, "Oh my God, you know what those are?" And I was like, "Yeah, I bought my mom a pair, for her birthday." She's like, "Oh my God, you're so cute. It's so sweet of you." And that was it. Got the number.
Wow.
And then we dated for years.
Really?
Yes.
That's how you dated someone for years?
For years. Yeah.
Just by going up to a stranger and saying you liked their Uggs?
That's how we roll.
Wow.
Yep. See,
That's
guys?
a success story.
See, guys?
What would be the equivalent these days? I like your Yeezys.
No. Yeah. No, I don't know, actually. But, yeah, maybe your Birkenstocks.
I like your Birkenstocks, your Crocs.
Yeah.
Gen Zs love Crocs. But yeah, my best pickup line, I've never had a pickup line that's worked on someone because I don't think I've ever. Oh,
here we go.
I had one work a long time ago. I forget what it was, something about the gym, something I asked someone at the gym, but I guess it worked because I dated them. But anyway, I think that the best pickup line that's worked on me has been, "Will you take a bath with me?" I did post this on my Instagram story.
But that's not a real bath.
It's a bath house.
I know, but that's stupid. It's
But
cute.
it's
It's funny, I guess.
It's funny. And so if someone's like, "Will you take a bath with me?" It's kind of funny. You're like, what are you actually asking? And so that one's funny. And I feel like, or you're like, "You must be a runner because you're running in my mind all day." Not the most original, but I'll take it.
Oh, you look tired because you've been running through my mind all day.
That too. But if you start with "you look tired," it starts to kind of I actually did a long time ago. I had an ex-boyfriend one time. He actually was just saying, it wasn't a pickup line, but he was like, "Oh, you look really tired." And let's just say that was not a good thing to say because I was just like, "No, I don't," or and so it did not end well. But yeah, moral of the story is I don't like to be commented on my appearance if it's negative.
Okay. Got that.
But
writing that down.
Always looks fresh and lively, even when it's not true. But yeah, so yeah, I guess those are my worst and my best pickup lines.
All right. Are we ready for the next question?
Yeah.
Thoughts on having your relationship on social media?
Oh, Thoughts on having your relationship on social media? This can go both ways.
I feel like I wouldn't care that much. I mean, as long as it's not like
Bad taste.
everything and bad taste and just,
So here's the thing.
I don't mind if people knowing that, I'm with somebody.
That's at the base of it. So what I know is, I love that we can hear the taekwondo happening downstairs.
I can't hear it.
Just adds to that. I love it. The effect, talking about like children and stuff. No, so having the relationship on social media, I think it goes both ways. I have a few accounts of people that I follow where I really admire that they have their relationship at the fore. Like, when you see these certain athletes, like, you're like, okay, you're in a relationship. It's very obvious, but it's not the only thing that they are. Because sometimes I think some people can get caught up in having their relationship be their identity. And that I don't think is the ideal. But I also think that, like, if you're seeing someone for a while, I don't think it should be a secret. Because I think that can start to get kind of weird. Of the, like, never, you're keeping this facade that you're single for what? Like, that seems strange.
It's just a weird topic because some people use like social media differently.
Good
like
point.
if,
It's professional.
like my account is like 99% like things that I shoot.
Right.
And then some of it is just like, stupid things like, I don't know, my car or like a moment or my friend running down the boardwalk. But there's nothing like too
Personal.
It's all like public stuff.
My social media, on the other hand, is a diary. I'm just kidding. It's like every step of the way of my tragic life. That's just kidding. I feel like I definitely post things very openly, and I talk about grief. I talk about recovery from addiction. I talk about training, and so I definitely have like a lot of me at the forefront of my social media. But I think that's what keeps me authentic. Like, it's my narrative, it's my story, but that said,
is there room for you like hugging a dude and posting pictures of you guys like walking hand in hand and kissing and being like, all those,
I definitely, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't mind like with a person having like a presence, like there is someone out there, but I mean like maybe going overboard.
I think it's when the relationship gets cemented as like if you're getting married or if you're like engaged or whatever, or you're living together, or like you have, I feel like there's like the milestones where then it's like, okay, you post it because it's a big deal, but otherwise, it can be tricky. But I also think there's something to be said about if someone is actively hiding or making it seem like they're single.
Well, I don't know. All I can say is like, guys out there, like if your girl's on Instagram, like guys are messaging her. And you're not going to stop that. There are guys messaging your girl right now. And there's nothing you can do. I mean, listen, if your girl's attractive, guys are messaging her. It is what it is.
That's true.
I mean, single, married, boyfriend, girl, like people are just, girls are messaging guys, guys are messaging girls.
If a girl is posting that she's been wifed up, I feel like she's getting less of those. It's not an active pursuit as much. It might be like I feel like those guys,
everyone tries. Everyone likes to shoot their shot. I don't care. I just feel like,
you're kind of right, actually.
I mean, you got to shoot your shot.
I feel like there's definitely, but then from the girl's point of view, though.
How's your inbox look?
Okay. See, here's the thing. Anyone who hits me up and slides in my DMs, you can tell that they do that. Those kinds of guys do it for everybody. Like, you're like, okay, you're just sending this to all the people.
Well, I mean, they're dealing in averages. You got to like,
Yeah. So that says more to me than someone who's genuinely interested. And I feel like there has to be kind of like a roundabout way to slide into the DMs where you're saying something very specific about what it is that I'm doing, or like connecting in a totally different, oh, you actually are interested in that. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about that. So it's like, it's not just, I want to date you. But
it was so much like back in the day, it was so different.
Back in the day.
Yeah, back in like the...
As
like,
if you're so much older.
back in
Wait,
the
how...
day.
You're not that much older than
We're not talking about that. But like back in the day, like 1908, you know what I mean? Like where you would like, carve...
Write a letter?
Like, yeah, you would carve something into stone and you would like show it to somebody. Like, like
Yeah.
before, like you can like... There's so many like different mediums to like sneakily contact somebody.
Yeah.
Like even like not text, but like
You're right.
WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter. Like there's so many different inboxes and email accounts and just like...
It's so crazy. I know. And like to think that you had to call people and talk to them about setting up a date. And
yeah, you had to call their house, and then their mom would
God,
pick
they
up.
might not even be
and,
home.
Excuse me, Mrs. Whatever, can I speak to blah blah? And that was like, oh God, please hope the mom doesn't pick up with a dad.
Imagine?
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't. I do imagine because I had to do that.
I mean, I remember sitting on the phone with boys in high school for hours at a time. I would just sit on the phone with, I don't know what we were talking about, but we would just talk on the phone for hours. And that was how we knew we were dating. And yeah, I don't know. I kind of like it though. Like you get to know them by that, like just on the phone. That's why I think long distance relationships might actually be a good thing sometimes, because you get to know them just by talking for a long time.
Just a crazy world. Like parents don't know what's like. No one knows what's going on because there's like so many different mediums for communication. I just feel like it's just like if you were like it was back in the 80s, how would someone contact your child other than approaching them?
You're right. There's no real.
They couldn't.
They couldn't.
They call your house. Hey, can I speak to your kid? Who is this? No. Okay. See you.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why parents monitor their kids' social media. They try to monitor. But yeah, there's always a way. I mean, when I was in high school, I was on chat rooms. I was in my little room in my bedroom in St. Louis, Missouri, on some sketchy chat rooms talking to. I remember I was literally like 14 years old. 13.
And
I was talking
older men
to
that said they were 11.
No, they weren't even saying their age. They were saying their real age, or maybe they were even lying about that. But I was talking to like older people in New York. I was like, I just want to live in New York. I mean, what the hell? To think about who I was talking to, it's scary.
Jesus.
But that was in the early 2000s. But yeah, you're right. So yeah, the means of communication, we're very accessible. But that said, I don't know. I like to have faith that even though there's a lot of different ways, that if you have the loyalty and there's somebody that you're with that like they're getting messages, but they're like, no, I'm not. I see it for what it is. I'm not engaging in these conversations. Because that's a whole other thing. Like talk about if you're dating somebody and then you notice, oh, like you're messaging some girl, like what are you guys talking about? Like it's just like that's a whole other can of worms.
It's like and then like I guess the girl can, I guess your boyfriend or girlfriend can like click on your followers and then they can see who's following you and they can be like,
I feel so triggered by
why
you
is
even
this
saying
girl
that.
Following you all of a sudden?
I feel so triggered by you even saying that, because I'm just like, yeah, exactly.
Trust me, I've heard it all. And I said, listen, I don't know these people. They follow me because they find me entertaining. I'm not like banging 10,000 people on my Instagram
like
list.
why is this person liking every one of your photos, or why are they commenting on heart?
I'm a funny dude.
Exactly.
Or maybe they're,
And the flip side to this is the other thing. So like I have my really good friends, like Justin. You met Justin. He was on the podcast. I have my really good friends, and like there are certain people that are family. And if you looked at it from the outside and you're like, why are those like likes and whatever, and then you just don't know, I could see it going both ways. Like social media looks a certain way, but then when you know the situation, you're like, oh, okay, yeah. Like it's not, somebody to worry about or something. But it is interesting to think like how social media can trigger these.
Social media has, I feel like, destroyed a lot of things. I feel like a lot of people aren't good in like person to person interactions, like in the real life. And we have like a lot of people that just can't like communicate
interpersonal skills,
or they're like in their house on the computer all day and they're just like, and they go nuts. And
I agree.
And they go
I think that's very true.
Crazy things.
But you could say the same from like when people were just obsessed with video games and like, they're introverts, but
Hey, I like video games.
Good point. So like it doesn't necessarily.
Don't make excuses.
But yeah, so social media, I feel like, yeah, when the milestone of the relationship is like you're engaged, you're getting married, and you post about it, great. Doesn't have to be the forefront of the identity, but there's going to be people in the DMs of your significant other, whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not. Remember that tonight when you're laying in your bed.
No!
When you're slobbing on your pillow.
That's when I call you crying in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that's it. You think you heard your significant other's phone vibrate at 2 a.m.?
Usually, yeah. So, yeah, I have this other thing too, truly. I don't know what this means. Maybe it's because I'm like traumatized, but I like don't want to know. Like sometimes I'm just like, I don't even want to know what's on your phone.
I want to know. I want to know.
I don't. I'd rather not. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to see it.
I hate talking about this personal stuff, but like I want to know because I feel like I'm the guy, I don't lock my phone.
What?
Yeah, I don't lock my phone.
I lock the hell out of my phone.
I don't lock my phone. I don't lock my phone.
But it's not even because I have anything to hide. It's just because
I don't lock my phone because like, okay, if I lost it, that would be trouble. Because my phone book and like everything in there would just be like, if someone got my phone, it'd be horrible. But I don't lock my phone. Like I've been in relationships, I never lock my phone. And because I never lock my phone, no one would ever want to look at my phone because it's just unlocked all the time. Like I never put a passcode on it. Because there's no dick pics in my phone. There's no like girls like texting me. I'm not doing it. I'm just a good dude. I'm not doing anything like that. But a lot of girls I've dated or even like, in long-term relationships, they lock their phone and they wouldn't even, not like I even wanted the code, but like I've asked just to do the test. And like, they were like, why? It was already like a question like, oh, I don't want to give you my code. I'm like, okay, I don't care, whatever. But I'm thinking like, why would you even make me think like that?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to check. I don't want to look, but like if you just don't want to give me the key to the room,
I don't know.
Then there's something in that room. And you want to know what? There was.
So you had this happen where you saw something.
Awful stories. I have a few awful stories, but that's not for this.
I get it.
Not for this episode.
I get it.
Maybe episode 2.
You've had some trust things. See, a long time ago, I think this is why I have this. It's like a long time ago. I saw something I didn't want to see. And in a phone, a message. And it really, if I think about it, it probably wasn't that bad. It was more of this emotional affair situation. Like, you know how people like, they didn't do anything, but they're like maybe talking to someone a little too much or like in the middle of the night or whatever. That, yeah, I don't know. I think that stuff, the emotional affairs, I think can hurt more than, physical affairs also I think can hurt, but emotional, yeah, they both hurt. They're both not fun. Yeah. They're both just as bad, I think, or equally as bad. But yeah, I don't know. The trust thing, that's why it's one of those qualities, what you look for in a partner is trust, loyalty. You have this idea that the person you're with is just gonna not do that stuff. But yeah.
Next question.
Yes.
Let's see. What are your deal breakers?
What are your deal breakers? Okay, so this is when one thing has led to another and things just pile on and enough's enough, or they do the thing that you said that they said they would never do and then it's over. What are your deal breakers?
This is a pretty easy list, I think. Smoking
cigarettes.
Yeah, I quit 7 years ago.
So that like the smell of smoke means that you just like don't.
I feel like
be dating somebody who's going to be smoking a cigarette in your presence.
I feel like in 2022, why are you smoking? It's Ronald Reagan.
What if they're
that's even grosser. That's like, listen, Ronald Reagan's no longer president. There's no one smoking in the White House. Like, why are you smoking? It's gross. Let's get over it. I smoked.
If it's okay, so
listen, I smoked. I enjoyed it.
What if it's a one-off cig? Just ripping a cig at a party for fun.
Get over it. It's
okay. So then you're out. If you're dating someone for 6 months and they pull out a cigarette,
they're not going to pull out a cigarette after 6 months.
Okay.
Okay. Listen, I'm on the dating sites. If someone says they occasionally smoke, they're a smoker. They're embarrassed of it. That's
a non-negotiable.
Yeah. There's no point. Wow. I don't want to be around it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And also like your vicinity, if someone's smoking around you, it's not conducive towards health and like not good for long-term.
I feel like there was a place for it in the 80s. My mom smoked. My dad smoked. Growing up, I smoked.
So that you're over it.
I'm over it.
You got over it.
well, yeah, it's a new era. No one smokes.
Nobody smokes.
Get
I
over
like
it.
that. I feel like that's probably one of mine. Like if someone had to step out for a cigarette, yeah, that's probably one of mine too. But I don't think of it at the forefront of my deal breakers because it's just like not the most important thing.
Well, I won't even get into it. What's the point? If I know this person's a smoker, while I start dating a smoker, they're a smoker.
Yeah.
I don't have to beg them to quit.
I do feel that way about smoking weed. Like if there's because of the smoke, like physical smoke. If someone was smoking weed in my like room or something, I'd be like, because I like would just cough from the smoke from, like I just wouldn't want that. But I think that would be like hard. But so what are your other ones?
Well, I also don't drink, but I don't, I don't drink. I just don't drink because I don't like to drink, but I'm not against someone drinking. Like if we go out and they want to have a drink, that's fine, but not drinking to the point where
no drunk guys.
Yeah, no drunk guys. Jeez, I don't want to. I don't want to have.
You say that's your deal breaker, but then it also like didn't you just have this crazy story of somebody that you were dating that was just drinking all the time?
Whatever. It's just, I thought there
you
was.
You overlooked
you know, I don't know. I was kind of hoping for like a better outcome, and then like my like
just praying that she would turn around.
I was like, maybe I could help this girl. Then I was like, don't go there. Don't go there. I can't don't try to figure her.
You can't save them. So
drinking's okay.
So not moderation. So like not being an alcoholic.
Right. I actually had a girl on one dating site, and she asked me if I drink, and I said I don't drink. And she goes, "Oh, well, I can't."
Wow.
She wouldn't even go on a date with me because I didn't drink. And I said, "Well," I said, "Okay." So I said, "Well, that's fine." But why?
It's so common. I can't tell you how many times. Oh no, that was a big thing for me.
And she was like, "Well, I drink a lot of wine, so I don't want to sit at home with my boyfriend and drink wine if he's not drinking wine with me." But
how sad is that?
That was like a couple years ago, and guess what? I saw her. She's still on the dating sites with me.
Still on the dating sites.
And I'm still not drinking, and she's still drinking.
That's sad. And I think how when I first got sober, that was a big fear of mine. Was that people were not going to find me attractive if I didn't want to go out for drinks.
Well,
but at the same time, it weeds out the people who that's the priority of their life. Right. And it's, oh, well, like, you miss that, but you're not going to, I don't know. I think it's just like the pros definitely outweighed the cons with you might have a limited dating pool, but there are more people who are after the same thing as you're after. But, yeah, that's interesting that was her non-negotiable.
Yeah, I was kind of
the fact that you don't drink.
I was surprised, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So another deal breaker. Let me think. Yeah, so I guess that's also my red flags. But like
how about unemployment?
Unemployment?
How about not having a job at all?
I don't care about that. If someone's unemployed,
how about living with their parents?
I don't care about that.
Okay, how about not having a car?
I don't care about that either.
Do you have a car?
I don't have a car. Okay. No, I don't care about things or money at all. I really don't. It's weird. I don't have that. Like if somebody was joking with me, they're like, "Oh, you just love the starving artist," and I'm like, "It's not that. It's if they're going after something that could potentially be profitable, then
but that could be tiring 20 years down the line."
Yeah. I could see that, but I also, I don't know. I just look at my parents.
Hold on. If you meet somebody and they're, let's say, 40 years old, and they're still chasing their dream, living in their parents' basement, are you into that?
That's bad. No, it's bad.
Okay, I just want to just say. Okay.
That's definitely bad. But I think that it's more about what someone's chasing. So for example, this is my dad was a journalist, writer. And he was kind of he had 5 kids. So let's just say money wasn't there as much. I mean, he was successful, but it wasn't.
Right. Well, yeah, 5 kids. That's crazy.
That's it. And we all went to private school.
That's five pairs of sneakers, 5 meals. I get it.
Exactly. So, but the thing was that it was more important for him to be doing what he loved. I just was raised by that. So I get that kind of you have to be chasing your dreams kind of thing. And I understand it. And there were, the crash in 2008 with the economy. He didn't have a job for a second. He was unemployed. And I remember that was super stressful and stuff, but he was going to just keep striving to get the thing, the next big gig or whatever. And so I just saw that and I kind of like respect it. And I understand that there are times that are tough.
Yes.
That doesn't make someone less desirable to me.
I get it. But I mean, there's got to be a point where.
Yeah, it's true.
Because, my father was an immigrant.
Right.
So
From
they came.
Poland?
From Russia.
From Russia.
So they came with nothing, the typical story. But, he had his ups and downs, but eventually, had more ups than downs. But I mean, there's got to be a point where you got to pull the ripcord or just say, this guy just can't connect.
No, if they're leeching, that's another thing. If they're taking away from your resources and they're not,
well, that's what's going to happen.
Right path.
Well, that's what's going to happen. They're going to leech.
Yeah,
because they're not going to.
That's a good point. But what if they're about to have their big break?
Well, they always listen. I understand that more than anybody. Like I always feel like I'm about to have my big break. Yeah. But I feel like I never really like fully connected home run on something. Mm-hmm. But maybe now, hey, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Exactly. But yeah, that's like I think that like if I had to think of like another deal breaker, being mean. Like that's like my biggest deal breaker. Once someone crosses that line and is mean, I can't look back. And I like really, I've noticed that where, if someone starts to like dig, like it starts small. It starts with like little things of like, oh, that was lame. I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe it was, or like it makes me second guess, like, okay, then maybe that was a silly thing to tweet or something. But then if it starts to snowball and there's like mean spirited messages or something or slights, that's my deal breaker. Where it's like if I see one too many mean remarks directed at me, that's a non-negotiable.
Who would ever be mean to you?
A lot of people.
That's really sad.
I'd be so surprised. It's like, and I don't know, maybe this is some psychological stuff, but I feel like, or some heavy therapy stuff, but I kind of wonder if I seek it out a little bit because I have so many amazing friends and I'll tell them things and they're just like, oh, whoa, like where did this come from? I'm like, I don't know, but like, I don't like something about me. I think people they want to put me down.
Maybe.
So yeah.
Maybe they're jealous.
Maybe. Or is it just.
Maybe they see you trying to be happy and they're not happy. And they want
water
you to.
On my flame.
Yeah, they want to like bring you where they are to misery land.
Maybe. Yeah. Or like, cause I like to think I'm a very optimistic, hopeful person, even though I've seen some dark stuff. You've seen some dark stuff too. But it's, yeah, the mean thing is like the biggest no. Like it just, yeah. Cause I had a really good relationship with my dad. That's something that I think about. Like, I'm like, I had this amazing relationship with my dad and he was never mean. He didn't know how to be mean. I can't even think of like, he didn't have it in him. So if I see it, I'm like, that's not where I come from. And like the most important male figure in my life wasn't mean to me. So I don't want to have, others like that. But yeah. Is anyone mean to you?
I have a super low threshold for that. So
I know you do. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're at this point in my life, if you're mean to me,
nice knowing you.
100%. You get cut quicker than I don't even know. There's a meme floating around. It's like a little kid looking down the toilet.
Yeah.
He's flushing you down the drain and he's like, see ya.
Yeah. No, I believe it.
And not into it.
Yeah. I don't know why I entertain meanness sometimes. I think it's because there's something in me that tries to prove them wrong. Like, no, don't be mean to me. Look at how, but yeah. Anyway, so, what's
next? All right. When or how to fight? Or is that fight? When or how to fight?
When or how to fight.
I thought it meant flight, like you're going to take off, but I can't read, obviously. But it's when or how to fight.
So fighting.
I don't like fighting.
I hate fighting. I'm a very avoidant fighter. I don't like it.
I would probably flight.
Same.
Before I fight.
I would probably fly away.
Yes.
Too. Yeah, exactly.
What are we fighting about? Like why does it even have to get to a fight?
What What are we fighting about?
I mean, like,
yeah, no, I totally
why
agree.
Why are we getting to the fight?
Okay, so here's the thing.
What's the fight?
Here's a hypothetical fighting situation.
Okay.
So say one person really wants to go to Paris for...
Oh my God, who are these people? God.
I don't know. Or okay. So that's a bad example.
Yeah, somebody wants to go to Dirty Taco, and the other person wants to go to Salsa Mexicana.
Yeah. Or okay. No. Here's a more, not even just like menial little things to fight about, but it could be about steps in the relationship that aren't happening quick enough, or noticing that you always flirt with someone in front of me and it makes me sad, or something. I don't know, like those are like discussions. So the way I see it is, it's better to have discussions and constructive conversations about disagreements or things that come up. That's the way to fight. It's not fighting, it's just talking. And I think that's important.
I feel like there needs to be somebody also. Like I have I hope no one watches this that I know, because they're going like, he's probably talking about me.
Calling people.
I'm calling everybody out. But like, listen, somebody has to be. There can't be two aggressive people in a relationship, because I feel like when those two people fight,
alphas.
Yeah, because it's like someone's got to be the calming soul, because otherwise fights just escalate until something happens.
Yeah.
Until someone jumps out of the car on the side of the road, and then they get left there in the dark.
Oh my God.
This happens.
That happens?
It happens.
Yeah, like,
not to me, but like,
I'm also
saying.
like of the mindset that like nothing should be bad enough to like raise voices or have that.
Yeah,
I don't know. That seems very foreign to me. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. A fight should just like, okay, you're arguing, but then it should reach a point where, it starts to get diffused.
Diffuse. That's my favorite word. Because I feel like it's like diffuse. What can, if it's up here, how can it get down to here?
Right.
And like a level ground where it's not life or death.
Right, because what are we really fighting about?
Exactly. And I think also a huge thing for this with relationships and fighting is if you have a North Star of where you're hoping the relationship goes. You're both on the same page, like, we're in this together and we want to go to this point here. These little things that come up that are disagreements, if you know, okay, my partner wants to go to this, like wants to get married and have kids or whatever the goal is or whatever, it keeps things contained or keeps things in perspective so that they don't get out of hand. Because I think like when stuff starts to get out of hand, there's like a lot of potential for things to just flop on their head or flop upside down and just completely, like that can really like end things. And also one too many of those kinds of like heated arguments can start to become the relationship of just like fighting all the time. And that's just not fun for anyone, and it's not healthy, and it's not conducive for like growth. And so, yeah, I think it's like really important to have like established values and like goals to keep fights more conversational.
And what are we fighting about? Like anyway, seriously.
There are things to fight about.
Like what? Like what? Like let's say, like someone else checks out, like someone else walking around. You get caught.
No, there are a lot of things that couples could potentially fight about. They could fight about where they want to live. Like somebody could say, I want to live, in St. Louis, Missouri or something. And they could say, well, no, but if they're doing things as a team, there are things that could pop up that they would disagree about.
Disagree, but for it to escalate into a fight.
Yeah, escalating into this heated thing, that to me, it's not ever necessary for things to be tipped over into that heated rage. And if it does get to that point, that's a sign to wait, press pause, right, and just wait. I actually have this thing where like if something is ever heated enough with anyone, it's never best handled at nighttime. Like it's always better to just handle it in the light of day and like wait, like press pause and be like, okay, like let's reassess this at noon the next day. Because then it's like everyone's slept.
That's
had
cool.
A snack.
I like noon.
Yeah.
Noon's a good time for me.
Midday. Yeah. It's
mellow.
not as like at stake. I don't know. Like there's not as many stakes, I guess I should say.
Because if you get into a fight at night, then like where are you sleeping?
That's the other thing. Yeah. That's couch? Why, especially if you share living quarters and stuff.
Well, yeah. Hopefully you are.
Well, yeah. But yeah. So fighting it's never worth getting to that point, but just having conversations that are constructive is the way to go.
All right.
Yeah. Next question.
Next and last question.
Last question.
Is it possible to love more than one person at a time?
This is a really crazy question.
It is crazy.
Because it made me think.
Like,
is it possible to love more than one person at the same time?
We're talking about love or making love?
Okay. We're talking about love. No. So I thought this question was maybe asking about polyamory and versus monogamy, of like having multiple partners versus just one or something. Or I was wondering if it was like somebody's still in love with their ex or something. I don't know. But my take was,
I hate that.
You hate that?
I hate that.
If somebody's still in love with their ex?
I hate like a lingering ex.
Oh, lingering exes are a red flag. I should have put that on the red flag
That's
list.
actually one of mine too. Like I think I coined that phrase, lingering ex.
Retroactively add lingering ex to the red flags.
I'm sorry, continue.
Anyway, no. So the loving more than one person at a time. Okay, so there's different kinds of love. There's friendship, like deep, meaningful friendship. There's like romantic love. There's the love you have with your family. So yeah, of course you can love more than one person at a time if it's in that way, because you've got different kinds of people to love and stuff. Like I love my mom and stuff. I don't know, like but at that same point, I kind of think that if somebody is loving, I don't know, you kind of have to decide if you're not poly, if you're not like, you know, having multiple partners, then you have to kind of decide who you're going to commit to. And for me, I think it's like put all your effort into the thing that you want to watch grow. And that's why it makes more sense to me at this point in my life to just be like choosing to be with one person. Does that make sense? You should answer this.
I don't even think I have an answer for this. I just think, yeah.
You can love more than one person at the same time.
I mean, I don't know. Like love is like a weird word. Like I love my mom.
Right. That's what I just said. You're just saying what I just said.
Well, you said what I said before, so how come I can't do it? We'd have a fight now. But I don't know. I don't know.
I feel like it's the kind of thing where I think this is a question about polyamory. What do you think about polyamory?
I don't even know how to spell that.
Polyamory. It's the thing with people who have like multiple. It's very common on the apps. I've been talking about this with a few friends.
I'm old school. I feel like I want to have one person and then just work on that. It
seems complicated. Like, I mean, power to the people where it works, but I feel like it's a lot to navigate.
Some people can't keep one person happy.
That's
How are you
what
going to keep
say.
like 9 people happy?
And one relationship is enough work of like putting in time and effort and being there for them and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Like I think that as far as romantic love goes, for me, I typically have one spot for that at a time.
Good to know.
But yeah. Anyway, so that was our show. Is there anything? Well, let me just roll real quick.
All right. Just bear with her. She's checking her phone.
I'm looking to see.
Any questions?
Which is surprising. I guess Instagram Live wasn't where it was at for the questions. But people did send a lot of questions when I had it on my Instagram. But so we answered the big ones and we learned about red flags, non-negotiables, all the different relationship and dating topics, social media. Speaking of social media, if you want to find me and follow me, I'm at Lucie Beatrix, LucieBeatrix on Instagram. And you want to give your Instagram?
Sure. It's Jay Belsky, JayBelsky. And we also learned that if a woman asks you to come over and she offers you chicken cutlets, she might want your baby. What do you think?
Is that a bad thing?
I don't know. Depends on the chicken cutlets, I guess.
So thanks so much for tuning into my show. You can find me, the video version of my show, on Spotify, as well as the audio version also on Spotify and wherever you get your podcast. Until next time, just be fast Just win.